Hello everyone and welcome to Slash Film Daily for September 28th, 2018. On today's episode, we're going to talk about the latest film and TV news. This is Slash Film Editor-in-Chief Peter Sciretta, and joining me at today's podcast is Slash Film writers Hoai-Tran
Hey everyone.
and Chris Evangelista.
Hello.
Guys, it's Friday, and when will this week be over? It seems like a long one.
I have only a few more hours left.
Yeah, there's all this, stuff that's going on in politics, and our own Jacob Hall is out, covering Fantastic Fest this week, so we've been and Ben's traveling, so we've been, short-staffed, and there's been, I feel like, more news this week than there was in the previous 3 weeks combined. Like, literally, I was putting together this podcast, and in the last 30 minutes... 3 stories broke, which completely changed our plan for this podcast. So, we should get to those stories. Let's get to the big breaking stories. And let's start that off with Star Wars, because you can't get any bigger than Star Wars. And the big news is that Kathleen Kennedy is returning as Lucasfilm president. Chris, what do we know?
So after Solo, A Star Wars Story didn't do that well at the box office, there was rumors swirling all over the internet, specifically on YouTube, where literally anyone can report on anything if they have a camera, claiming that Kathleen Kennedy was out. I actually had someone at me on Twitter literally saying, I know for a fact Kathleen Kennedy has already been fired, and you'll see. I swear to God.
Yeah, but these same YouTubers said that, Dark Phoenix wasn't even going to be released, I think?
Yes. The moral of the story is people on YouTube are wrong. But, so yeah, in light of all these rumors, news just broke that Kathleen Kennedy has re-upped her deal to be Lucasfilm president for at least 3 more years. So... for 3 more years, Kathleen Kennedy will still be running all things Star Wars and Indiana Jones and other Lucasfilm properties.
I think, there's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there that hated Last Jedi, that are, declaring, the reason why Solo bombed was because of them. They think that, she hasn't handled this well. Obviously, there was huge reshoots for not just Solo, but Rogue One. But I've liked the output so far, and I'm a fan of Kathleen Kennedy and what she's doing. HT, what do you have to say about this?
I'm so happy that this story broke and just proved all the detractors wrong. I'm not happy just for that sense, but it was a big factor. I think Kathleen Kennedy is great at her job, and she shepherded so many great films over the years. And yes, Star Wars has had some very public troubles, but I think that's because it's such a big property. And she still has a bigger success to failure ratio. So I'm happy that she signed on for more years at Lucasfilm, and I hope that now that she is set for the next 3 years, she will encourage more diversity behind the scenes and hopefully pick more female directors and crew for the films, which she's often been criticized for.
Yeah. I mean, the big problem here, and I know we've talked about this in the past, is that, she kind of tried to hire a bunch of up-and-coming some new talent to direct these Star Wars films, and that kind of, I think, bit her in the behind quite a bit. And, I want to see her hire a female Star Wars director, but it's hard to do that unless you're going for the 2 female directors that, have done huge movies. So I don't know. I do hope that she finds a balance of finding, up and coming talent and pushes, the diversity in the way she has been, without falling prey to, the problems that Lucasfilm has been having in the past. Chris, are you happy about this news?
I am thrilled, especially after this week, which has just been a living hell in many ways. The fact that finally whiny baby men are not getting their way in one way is just very exciting to me. And, not just because of that, but Kathleen Kennedy, I know everyone, look, I don't think a lot of people understand how filmmaking works. Like, a lot of people think producers don't actually do anything, but producers do a lot, and Kathleen Kennedy has been involved in so many movies, like E.T. and all the Indiana Jones. People act like, she doesn't do anything. She's had a hand in so many like classic movies. Yeah, Solo didn't work out, but to throw her out completely because of that is silly. So I'm glad this is happening.
Yeah, and she's back for 3 more years, which I think, if she had signed a deal to come on for another year and finish out, episode 9, that might have not been as big of a thing as this. I think this shows that Bob Iger, loves what she's doing and wants her back for more. The other big news story that just hit is that we found out Fox is releasing a new Deadpool film at the end of this year. This just dropped on top of us, but I guess the story gets a little bit less interesting from there. HC, tell us about it.
Yes, so our lazy Friday afternoon was shattered when 20th Century Fox suddenly scheduled a, quote, untitled Deadpool movie, end quote, to open on December 21st, 2018. And after we were all reeling from this news, it was revealed that this was actually a PG-13 re-release of Deadpool 2. So this is a re-release that's coming 7 months after Deadpool 2 first hit theaters in May, and it's now coming out December, just in time for the family holidays, which is when exactly you want to take your family out to see Deadpool 2.
Yeah, a neutered version of Deadpool 2. I wonder,
yeah.
We know that Disney is acquiring Fox. Do you think, is it too early that this could be a Disney decision to do this? It sounds very Disney, I think, cynically. It sounds very Disney.
It's possible because the deal is essentially set in stone, but it also seems to be in line with a series of other release date pushbacks that they just implemented, which is Alita, Battle Angel, and Dark Phoenix. So Alita, Battle Angel was originally set to open on that December 21st, 2018 slot, but has now been pushed back to February 14th, and Dark Phoenix, which was set to run then, is now opening in the summer on June 7th.
This is crazy because the first trailer for Dark Phoenix just came out this week, and you'd think if they made the decision to move this film that they would have waited on the marketing train. What do you think?
I wonder if it's because there was better reception than they anticipated for the trailer, and it gave them a little faith in the film, and they decided to push it to a summer slot, is what I'm optimistically seeing here. I mean, June is a strong slot, and it's basically a summer opening for this movie, which has had several delays and lots of production issues. So maybe it means that this movie will be good.
On the other side of the coin, Battle Alita, the Robert Rodriguez directed movie with the story by James Cameron. What do you think of this? Why do you think this was pushed back from this year till next year, right?
Yeah, this doesn't look good for Alita Battle Angel because December is a big family, big holiday slot, and they push it essentially to the dead zone of February. So it seems like they're kind of burying this film, and I don't really blame them. Just from what I've seen in the trailers, at least, it doesn't look good. And as you know, I'm a big anime fan. I never watched Battle Angel, but they took some weird steps with this film. First by digitally altering Alita's eyes at least, to make her have anime eyes, which is just the complete wrong sort of choice to make for an anime adaptation. I don't know. It's a very strange creative choice. Maybe it'll work in the film, but I don't think that this Fox is putting a lot of faith in this film. Yeah,
I just am not interested in that movie at all. I mean, it maybe has a better chance of being good than Venom, but I don't think that's saying much.
What do you say to the one Venom fan who wrote in yesterday, Peter?
We had two Venom fans.
Oh, two Venom fans.
And one of them admitted that it looked bad, but they were going to see it. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not making fun of our listeners. We love you guys. Let's move on to the other news that just hit in the last 45 minutes, and that is that they are making a Sesame Street movie with some interesting creatives. Chris, you're at this up for the site. What do we know?
Yeah, so a Sesame Street movie has been in some stage of development or another since at least 2012, but nothing's really gotten off the ground. But now Portlandia co-creator Jonathan Krisel has been hired to direct a Sesame Street movie. So it seems like they're finally moving forward with this, and it'll finally get off the ground. And Sean Levy is one of the producers, believe it or not. So yeah, it looks like that's happening at Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers now owns Sesame Street because HBO bought it from PBS, and HBO is owned by Warner Brothers. So there you have it. The more you know.
Do we have any idea what the take on this story is? I'm assuming not.
It just says it's going to be a musical. There's no plot or anything listed yet. So a part of me wonders if they're going to take the approach of the 2011 Muppets movie, or it's sort of like a reboot. But I really don't know.
I know as a kid, I was a huge fan of the movie Follow That Bird, which I think came out in like the 80s, maybe?
1985.
1985. And I think it might have been a home video release. I'm not even sure. But it wasn't a great film. And it was really, Big Bird had gone on the run and everybody was out trying to find him. Or her. Is Big Bird a guy or a girl? I don't even know. I guess we are all.
He's a guy.
Yeah,
right?
I think he's a guy. Okay, yeah.
Although they don't have any genders, according to the creator of Bert and Ernie.
Yeah.
Who says they're just best buds.
Yeah. So are either of you fans of Portlandia?
I've seen a couple of sketches, but not a big fan.
I was a fan of like the first 2 seasons, but I felt like it kind of like ran out of steam after a while.
Does the involvement in Jonathan, the co-creator of that show, does that have you any interest at all in watching a family-friendly, Sesame Street movie?
I don't, not really. I mean, I really liked that Muppets movie, but the Muppets have always been more like adult. I mean, obviously they're for kids, but adults can enjoy it too. But Sesame Street is really geared towards younger audiences, so I don't know.
I think maybe they could play on the nostalgia of that, Jason Segel, the Muppets movie. I feel like you're probably right. It's probably going to be geared towards very little children and probably not, have that, dual quadrant appeal. But I don't know. I'm curious. We'll have to see. Next story is Toy Story 4 is being compared to, of all movies, Avengers Infinity War. HD, tell us about it.
So Toy Story 4, which is the film set to follow Toy Story 3, which is kind of seen as the perfect cathartic capper to a great trilogy, will supposedly make you cry your pants off again. So, longtime franchise star Tim Allen has said that he couldn't even watch the entirety of Toy Story 4 just because he got so emotional. He said in a quote, "It is so emotional, it's so funny, it's so big. The idea they came up with, I'm startled. I couldn't even get through the last scene." So he doesn't get into the plot details of it, but Toy Story 4 will supposedly follow Woody and Buzz as they embark on a quest to find Woody's romantic love interest from the first film, Bo Peep. And this is saying something, that this film will make you cry as much or even more than Toy Story 3, because every Pixar film makes you cry, but Toy Story 3, I think, was quite a tearjerker.
Like, do you think that we're going to lose either Buzz or Woody? Like, do you think they could do that to us? Like, I feel like that's being hinted towards us, like...
I would hate it, but I have my own complicated feelings about just like killing off characters just for some sort of shocking emotional reaction. My big cry in Toy Story 3 was actually not
a big sacrifice or something.
Yeah, I guess, but that's the kind of emotional manipulation that tilted a little too far, in my opinion. Like, my big cry in Toy Story 3 was the end when, you see Andy playing with
Spoilers
his toys.
for Toy Story 3.
Oh yes,
up,
sorry
but,
for a movie that came out like 7 years ago.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, that he was playing with his toys for one last time, and it was something that was more than just loss. It was something that I think that Pixar films really get to really well, which is more than just. And like they do that too, but they do something a little more than just like sad death or sad, like that kind of sad reaction. So we'll see.
Chris, are you ready to ugly cry over Toy Story 4?
I guess I'm a little skeptical of this because I thought Toy Story 3 was such a perfect like ending to the entire. Like it just seems like a cash grab at this point. Like we're doing Toy Story again. Like I'd rather Pixar would do more original stuff. Like they keep doing sequels, and I get that, but I want more. I don't know, like because for so many years I was so excited for like a new original Pixar film, and have them just keep doing sequels.
Yeah, but then you got The Good Dinosaur. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, so I don't know.
You're right. The Toy Story 3 was such a great bookend to that franchise, and I feel like I'm not sure I need another story. And I'm not sure how they're going to promote this movie. John Lasseter was very involved in that franchise, and he's obviously not at Pixar anymore, and there's a complicated feeling around all that in this a movie for kids. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm really wondering what the take is, because I think so far all we know is that it's a love story of some kind, which from what I heard was inspired by John Lasseter and his wife, which I'm sure they will not play up at all in the marketing.
Yeah, just having you say that just made me very uncomfortable. So they're probably not gonna. That's not gonna be in the press release.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to our next story, and that is that Seth Rogen will be pickled for 100 years in his new movie. What is this film, Chris? What is going on?
I forgot to open the story, so I'm just going to wing it because I remember what it was because it was so silly. So this is based on a short story from The New Yorker, and the film involves Seth Rogen plays a pickle maker in the... I'm sorry. In the 1900s.
I've never seen Chris laugh this much.
Just thinking about it. All right, let me preface this. I'm going to give you a little insider baseball. So yesterday, a Variety report, I'm not going to name him because I don't want to call anyone out, but he took to Twitter and he wrote "incoming" as if like a huge story was coming. And when we see that, in the Slash Film Slack, we all gather around. We're all wondering.
We all man our battle stations. We're like, ready.
It's like, all right, what's this big story going to be? Is it Star Wars? Is it Marvel? What's it going to be? And the story is literally this: a movie about Seth Rogen playing a pickle maker. And when I saw that, my blood boiled. I was like, really? This is the incoming? All right. So the story is. Seth Rogen plays a pickle maker who falls in a vat of pickles and gets brined for 100 years. And then he wakes up and he meets his great-grandson, also played by Seth Rogen. So that's the movie. Seth Rogen gets pickled for 100 years and then meets his own great-grandson. So there you have it. Hollywood has done it again.
Wait, so... is this like that Mel Gibson movie, but like the comedy version of it, where he got frozen accidentally?
Like Forever Young?
Yeah, Forever Young.
Maybe, but he didn't meet his own he didn't play like his own great grandson. So, and there weren't pickles involved.
Wait a second. What is the New Yorker story that spawned this? Like, where did
it's called Sellout. So. If you want to read it, Google "sellout New Yorker." I Googled New Yorker pickle story, and that's how I found it.
So weird. HT, will you see Seth Rogen as a giant pickle on the big screen?
I'm wondering, will he literally turn into a giant pickle? Will this be some sort of surrealist commentary on society, or is he just like a green man?
And is there kind of like a metaphor for weed here or something? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I honestly, when I first heard about this movie, I didn't read the details. I thought this was maybe a sequel to Sausage Party, which made sense to me. But now this makes less sense to me. But if Seth Rogen's making us laugh now, just based on the premise of the movie, maybe it'll be a great laugh when we watch it. So I don't know. Maybe I'll see it on Blu-ray or something.
Yeah. I just can't even imagine the marketing. Like, the poster. Can you imagine the poster, like, Seth Rogen as a giant pickle? Or, like, just, like, with the white background? I don't know. This just seems so ridiculous to me. But, you know, not as ridiculous as making a movie about the X-Men character Gambit and making it a romantic comedy. Right, HD?
Yes, but also I will defend the romantic comedy. While right now it has a sort of strange flag bearer for the superhero movie. So, according to Simon Kinberg, who is the X-Men producer and the director of the upcoming Dark Phoenix, Gambit, which is starring Channing Tatum, who has been kind of rocking that weird floppy hair since like 2016, will be a romantic comedy, or will have something akin to a, quote, romantic or sex comedy vibe. And he chalks this up to, when you look at Gambit, he's a hustler and a womanizer, and we just felt there was an attitude, a swagger to him that lent itself to the romantic comedy. But then again, he also goes on to describe how it's not really a romantic comedy, like how Logan wasn't really a Western, because, like, you know, everyone thinks that romantic comedy is a dirty word, but he says it's just a vibe, and that Gambit has a romantic or sex comedy vibe to it.
Okay, HT, I know you are a big fan of romantic comedies, and I actually have a soft spot for the classic romantic comedies, like, you know, the 80s and 90s and stuff like that. But Gambit, really?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I am itching for a superhero movie that will kind of cross that divide, because we've seen superhero movies that have bent genres with the heist movie, the spy thriller, the Western, like with Logan. So I'm waiting for that romantic comedy. I don't know if Gambit is the one that I want to be the romantic comedy, and I also think that the having the romantic lead be a hustler and a womanizer is just like a tired trope from rom-coms that we don't need. So we'll see. Wonder Woman did have some good rom-com elements, which made it so endearing to me. But yeah, I'm just desperate for more rom-coms, guys.
I don't believe it. You actually sold me on this idea. I was so against it, and I was like, I don't know.
Maybe
You're
it'll be
right.
like Hitch. Maybe it'll be like Hitch, where he is a player and he's throwing his
now you're
cards of love at people, and he meets his match.
Now you've convinced me it's a bad idea. Chris, is this a good idea or is it a bad idea?
I actually like this idea. I like the idea of doing different things with superhero movies, not just doing the same crap over and over again. Like, you know, that's what made Logan so cool. You know,
Yeah.
It was doing something there. So I'm not against this idea. I mean, Gambit is a stupid character, so anything they do will make him better. So I'm not against it.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to our last story, and that is, in Star Wars The Last Jedi, Poe Dameron kind of disobeyed all his superiors. He took control of the Resistance ship, and did he even kill people? I guess he probably didn't kill anybody, but there was some blaster fire going on there. So we all assumed, right, that Poe Dameron would be court-martialed in Episode 9 because, you know, you can't do that in a military and get away with it. So Chris, was he court-martialed?
No, the opposite. He got a promotion. In the Marvel comic series Star Wars Poe Dameron, he is now a commander. He's now Commander Dameron. You could read the story on slashfilm.com, but it boils down to he's about to go on a mission, and Leia tells him, calls him Commander Dameron.
And this isn't a comic book, right? I believe.
Yeah, it's the Marvel comic series. I said Star Wars Poe Dameron. It's issue number 31. And, it makes sort of sense just because the Resistance is very depleted. I mean, at the end of The Last Jedi, there was like 10 people left. So I think it makes sort of sense that rather than, go through the act of losing even more people, they've decided to, promote them. And so now I guess by the time we see the next Star Wars film, Poe Dameron's going to be a commander. So He's failing upward.
Yeah. You know, and I was being facetious. I don't think any one of us actually expected him to be court-martialed or to be demoted. But I do know that the Resistance is a very small group at this point. But I don't get it. HT, like, am I wrong, like, for, like, thinking, I know he's a hero and I know we should be rooting for him, but I feel like he should have been knocked down a step or two after.
Yeah, I actually agree with you, Peter. I think that it's strange that he got no punishment just for for blatantly disrespecting orders. And
not even disrespecting orders. He was like firing blasters at it was insane.
An actual coup.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this will be sort of a time jump afterwards too, so maybe there will be punishment that takes place and we just don't see it. It happens off screen. But my feeling is that their numbers are depleted and they have really no choice but to put him back as a commander.
I guess we'll have to find out if they address this at all when Star Wars Episode 9, whatever that is going to be called, comes out next year, late next year. That brings us to the end of today's Slash Film Daily. HT, you're not going to be here next week. You're going to be on a trip that we cannot talk about, but you'll be far, far away. Actually, that makes it sound like I was saying that you were going to the set visit of Star Wars. That's definitely not happening because JJ will never allow any press on set. I just meant you're going on an international trip.
Yes. I can't say where I'm going, actually.
Okay.
So I'm going to New Zealand. I'm not coming back until Thursday. But yes, so this will be the last you see of me. You can find me every day, though, at slashfilm.com, and I'm on Twitter at HTranBuoy.
Well, we're excited to hear about your adventures, at least the ones you can talk about when you come back on the water cooler. Chris, where can people find more of your work online?
I'm at slashfilm.com, and I'm on Twitter at Evangelista413.
You can find me at SlashFilm on all social media. You can find all the stories we talked about today on slashfilm.com and linked in the show notes. You can subscribe to Slash Film Daily on iTunes, Google Play, Overcast, Spotify, all the popular podcast apps. Please feel free to send us your feedback, questions, comments, concerns to Peter at slashfilm.com. And if you can, take a minute, go to our iTunes page, write us a very positive review, spread the word, tell your friends, and we'll see you on Monday.